Hello, my name is Anya, and I am an average voter. And today I am going to critique the website of a third party candidate who I've never heard of. And maybe people can use this as like reference for when they're doing their own campaigns to see how their rhetoric should and shouldn't be when you're trying to win over any swing voters. So, little info about me. I am registered under the Green Party in New York. I wouldn't really call myself a believer in political parties, but obviously they're very ingrained in American culture, especially in New York. You know, we're not known to be a swing state. Major state positions like governor, attorney general, senator, those tend to be Democratic positions, whereas when you get more individualistic, you'll see that counties that don't contain large cities in New York will be majority Republican. Um, I think New York is a quite unique state because a lot of our population lives in just one city. So I think it adds an additional challenge for candidates running for these statewide positions to be able to appeal to everyone, right? So I live in Western New York. I live 6 hours away from New York City, nowhere near there. So anything anyone says about New York City, I really don't care about. I mean, I care about it in terms of where my tax dollars are going, right? But like, I've never been to New York City in my 20 years of living. I don't know. I don't care, to be honest. Doesn't affect me, right? Because I'm a voter with my own self interest. And yeah. So typically, this is what the ballot's going to look like tomorrow. I'm recording this a day before Election Day, which seems kind of redundant, but I just found Diane yesterday. So I was looking at the ballot, right? And obviously, we have the Democratic and Republican candidates also being listed under third parties like conservative working families, which is the same until you get down to United States Senator. And then we see a new party, LaRouche. I'm like, who is that, right? I'm interested. This is different, right? And I see Diane Sare. Never heard of her. But again, I'm interested, right? Because obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of Chuck Schumer. I'm not going to get very political in this video, but I could be a potential swing voter. I'm not particularly tied to the Democratic Party nor the Republican Party. So I'm very much into checking out websites and platforms and seeing the individual views of candidates, right? So Diane has got me interested. So the first thing I do as a voter is I go into Google, I look her up, and I go to her website. So this is Diane's website. This is how it opens up. It opens up on Dump Schumer, one for one on the slideshow, and then it'll go to Why is Schumer Afraid to Debate Diane Sare? Interesting. And then we have a weekly online symposium and donate. So that's the moving parts. Oh, and why LaRouche PAC no longer represents Lyndon LaRouche, who will be a common name throughout this video and examining this website. So immediate thoughts from what I see when I open up, I immediately see this graphic, right? This slideshow graphic, and I immediately get anti-Schumer here. Now, when we look at the ballot, there's another option for Joe Pinion, but again, statewide positions like senator tend to be Democratic, so Diane doesn't really need to focus on Joe because Schumer's the incumbent, and she needs to prove why she's better than Schumer, and we will see how she does that. So we open up here. Obviously doesn't like him, right? We have this very big header here, which I think could probably be condensed a little bit. Like a lot of them don't have drop-down menus. You know what I mean? So you could totally condense this down. I do like the logo here. It looks nice. I like the color of blue that's used. I like how it matches the picture that we have in the background here of the globe. Fun inclusivity vibes that I'm getting from her. We're scrolling down. Oh, there she is on the ballot. That's where she's going to be tomorrow. We have some printouts, press kit, whatever, get in touch. Looks like a normal page. We get the table of contents. I forget what that's called. Right. So, as a voter, I'm looking at Diane for the first time. I see her wonderful face on this slideshow. And what do I do next? I go to why I'm running. Okay. So now we're on the why I'm running page. And this is Diane's time to shine. This is like Diane's elevator speech. What I'm expecting as a voter under the Why I'm Running tab is to be convinced for her cause and to believe in what she's running for. So what I'm going to be looking for, what are her qualifications? What are her values? What are the hints of her platform here? All right, so now that we've established that, we're going to move down and we're going to read the first few sentences that she puts in here. So she says, "My name is Diane Sare. I am running as a LaRouche independent candidate versus the favorite son of Wall Street, whose loyalties lie not with the people of the United States, but who serves big money, big tech, big pharma, and the British Empire, namely Chuck Schumer." It's a long first sentence. I am a firm believer that fun, like short, blunt first sentences always catch attention. And immediately we're getting into attacking the other candidate, which I don't particularly like, because while you're trying to win over a potential swing voter from the incumbent, Chuck Schumer, you don't need to be calling him like names and to like kind of question his integrity right now. I'm not here to focus on Chuck Schumer. I'm here to focus on Diane. Right. So then she goes on to say, "I'm running as an independent because, as George Washington warned in his farewell address, the party system has failed to serve the needs of the people of this republic," which I think is a very good second sentence, especially when we're talking in terms of potential swing voters. You know, I don't believe in partisan politics. I don't think it's smart. Good second sentence. Good second sentence. "Both parties have become slaves to the same interests which own Senator Schumer." And here we go again, attacking Chuck Schumer, disqualifying him. "I intend to lead this nation in a new direction, in keeping with the preamble of our carefully conceived and hard-fought United States Constitution, which says that all policy must promote the general welfare of all people, not the money class whom Chuck Schumer serves." Okay, so what have I learned about Diane's values from this first introductory paragraph, this little mini elevator speech, per se? I've learned that she doesn't like Chuck Schumer, doesn't believe in the party system, and wants to promote the general welfare of all people. Nothing unique here. Nothing that makes her stand out. And then she goes on to say, "I'm running as the great New Yorker Franklin Roosevelt once ran for president, against the interests of Wall Street and for a new deal for the people of this state and country. Not the murderous bank bailout scheme known as the Green New Deal, which Schumer supports, but for a just New World economic order that refuses to place a monetary value on human life." That was all one sentence. All right, Diane. Run-on sentences are not good. They're not good. Like, while you're typing this out, I know commas and I know semicolons and things of that, like, besides periods that can, like, break up clauses and sentences and stuff. Sounds great in theory. But you always want to read your writing out loud, because that shows when something is actually articulate or not. And I find with a lot of your writing, Diane, you go on for a long time in sentences. We don't need to encapsulate your entire worldview into one sentence, okay? Like, we have a whole website to do this. We can use simple sentences. It's not elementary. It's not like, simple sentences are fun. They're easy to read. They're easy to understand. And I also don't think that you should be using such brash language against other people in the opening sentences of why you're running, because right now, from this opening paragraph, 2 paragraphs here, I'm just not getting a lot of information. I'm not getting a lot of information about you, Diane. I don't really know why you're running. I think you just don't like a lot of people. And I'm getting a lot of negative vibes right now from you. Anywho, so we're going to move into what qualifies me. All right, so what qualifies Diane to be the next senator of New York, one of the senators of New York? I believe I am uniquely qualified to fight for the true interests of the people of our state and nation because, besides being a political leader, I am a trained classical musician. For this sentence to work, there would need to be a sentence after it proving why being a classical musician makes you worthy of being a senator. Because obviously classical musicians are very intelligent people. They have a highly trained skill. They're not stupid, right? However, music and politics, while they do cross over, like in their pure forms, don't really cross over that much. Like, you can write political songs, but like, just because Metallica wrote a few anti-war songs doesn't mean I'm gonna make James Hetfield like head of Secretary of Defense or whatever. You know what I mean? Kind of like that. And then she goes on to say, I was the founder and co-director of the Schiller Institute New York City Chorus, which has included hundreds of New Yorkers over the last 6 years. Not the sentence I wanted. Doesn't prove why being a classically trained musician makes you qualified for office, or senator office. But I do like the appeal to constituents here. I don't live in New York City, so this doesn't affect me. So as a potential swing voter in my position, sentence doesn't win me over, doesn't apply to me. So I would be hoping that later in this paragraph, there will be something that connects to my life and my situation. I'm the average Western New Yorker, whatever, that kind of thing, right? So not really the sentence I'm hoping for, but it's not bad, right? Okay. And then she goes on to say, our most profound contribution to the culture of the region was a series of performances of the Mozart Requiem in 2016, memorializing the 15th anniversary of 9/11. Not mad at it. I don't have much to say. My experience in organizing and leading such a chorus comprised of many different people from all age groups and walks of life gives me the experience needed to organize a political chorus to fulfill our nation's mission to form a more perfect union as defined by our Constitution, where classical culture will play a crucial part. I do like the sentence as well. This is I like part of the sentence. I think working with a diverse range of people is definitely very important for being in office because New York is a very diverse state. Every state is really diverse, whether you're talking age, sex, whatever. Everything's diverse. But again, a lot of people work with a diverse group of people. You could say I work with a diverse group of people because I do, but I also work in a fast food restaurant. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not going around saying that like I'm better than Chuck Schumer, which like I am, but like I think most people are better than Chuck Schumer. Anyway, not to get political, just joking around. But again, under the what qualifies me, first paragraph, not feeling like she's very qualified for a position as senator, right? Okay. So then we move into the second paragraph, and she says, most importantly, I've stood side by side with the greatest American of the last century, the statesman and economist Lyndon LaRouche, until his passing in 2019, fighting for the same principles that our founding fathers cherished and fought for against the enemy from whom we won our independence, the British Empire. Long sentence, okay? I was reading that out loud, and I was like, that long sentence. We could end the sentence there where I highlighted. We could put a period there, and then do until his passing in 2019, we fought for the same principles, or he fought for the same principles. Break up that sentence, please, because your paragraphs are already rather short. And that's not a bad thing, but like, you already dedicated a whole paragraph to one sentence here. We cannot make that a habit. We cannot make that a habit. Because that just makes things too wordy. People aren't going to want to read it. And you could want that because you don't want people to actually know what you're trying to run for. But you do want people to know that on the other hand, so that they're an informed voter and maybe they actually like your ideas. But you need to be articulate about it. You need to be punctual about it, But anywho, we're glorifying Lyndon. We're seeing him again. We're demonizing the British Empire again, which will come to be quite the trend, surprisingly, which honestly, I've never seen this before. I haven't seen such anti-British rhetoric since viewing like political cartoons from the Revolution. So a little off-putting. Don't know the basis behind that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But hopefully she's gonna like show me why that's like a thing. This puts me in opposition to Schumer and his seditious sponsors from Wall Street, demonizing Wall Street. A lot of people don't like Wall Street. But again, I could be given some more context as to why. Why are you better than Chuck Schumer? Why are you better than Wall Street? Why are you more qualified than Chuck Schumer to be senator? Because what I'm seeing now, what I see on this page is nobody's doing a good job. But like, I'm not seeing any, this is how I'm going to do a better job. All I'm seeing is nobody's doing a good job, so vote for me. Not vote for me because I'll do a better job than them. And here's why I'm going to do a better job than them. And that's what voters are looking for. I'm just like, I'm not going to automatically believe you, especially when you're going up against an incumbent like Chuck Schumer. It's going to be hard to win over voters, and you're really not doing a good job of it, to be honest. So like, by this point, I've already taken Diane as a joke, to be quite honest. I think for the amount of, how many words is this? All right, let's see. The amount of words that we've just read. 414 words, right? And I have learned nothing, that kind of thing. So, at this point, I'm kind of tired of this page. I'll run through a little bit of it. She talks about COVID, how nobody did a good job during COVID, how great powers, China, Russia, India, and the United States must come together in a plan of coordinated action. She'll use this in COVID sense. She'll use it in economic sense. She says it down here. A total change in direction is needed immediately. Here we go. Here is some action wording here. We need a change of direction. If you're a potential swing voter, you're probably going to agree with the statement, right? So what does she follow it up with? The first step to restoring the sovereignty and integrity of our republic is to crush Wall Street and liberate ourselves finally from the City of London and the British imperial monetary system. Here we go again with demonizing Wall Street and demonizing the British Empire. Again, I'm not getting detail on why I shouldn't like these people. Because, a lot of people will have context as to why they don't like them. But like, especially with like London, I know it's a financial capital, but like, you're not giving me the facts that I need to make an informed decision and be an informed voter. And then she goes on to say, this means convening a summit of at least the United States, Russia, China, perhaps India, to put the entire global financial system through an orderly bankruptcy reorganization. Do I entirely know what that entails? No. It sounds kind of scary, and putting 4 countries in charge of the world doesn't sound like a good idea. The United States, Russia, China, and India all have very different cultures, all have very different views on money. I mean, sure, capitalism's great and all, but like, we all have complicated histories and, our individual cultures. I don't know if one unique world order when it comes to economics and banking could entirely work. It could. But again, I would need more information on why it would work and why we should go through this reorganization of the global banking system. She says that the world must return to a fixed exchange rate, gold reserve, reinstating the Glass-Steagall Act of 1933. And she also wants to join the China's Belt and Road Initiative, which she hadn't mentioned before, but she said if we were to join the initiative, it would require modernizing all of our port and port cities while building at least 43,000 miles of modern high-speed rail. Sounds cool. Sounds good to me. I am a big fan of fun new transit ways. America doesn't really have a fleshed out rail system like other countries have. And I would love to see something like that because, driving everywhere, not really my thing. I do like driving, but, it's a lot of money to drive and maintain a vehicle. So I like this. But then she says we need nuclear power and plenty of clean, coal-fired plants as we transition in the next decades to energy from fusion power. And apparently clean coal is a thing. It's apparent, my boyfriend was telling me that it's apparently made from like the smoke of like, it's the air pollution that it turns into energy. But this is clean, coal-fired plants, which that sounds like an oxymoron. You can't have a clean coal-fired plant. That's not how coal works. I don't like this. Diane, if you mean clean coal, like this thing, get rid of that comma, like immediately, because this just doesn't sound right. It doesn't look right. It's not right. Because this really goes against your whole nuclear power thing. And like the benefit of nuclear power is that it's like clean energy, right? So like, I just don't like this. Get rid of this, right? Fix it. We must dramatically upgrade our public schools. I agree with that, as well as establish large apprenticeship programs to create a skilled workforce capable of building this new future for our people in the world. Our labor unions and military veterans will both be important to provide leadership and training to a young generation eager to be given a purpose and chance for a decent life. I like this. I do think public schooling needs more attention. I think like the trades need more attention. Skilled labor is important and is integral to society. So I do agree with this. I do. I demand that we prosecute the financiers who have put their own personal greed ahead of the well-being of millions of people by rigging the markets and the interest rates, laundering drug money, financing terrorism and human trafficking, and all similar crimes, which are run today on such a massive scale that it is impossible that the perpetrators are unknown. And if it is found that Chuck Schumer has helped cover up for these crimes by turning a blind eye, then he too should be prosecuted and frog marched to jail where he can enjoy his retirement. And look, I was going to wait to get into this guy, but I really don't like how we're going after Chuck Schumer for like money laundering and stuff when like I go on the Wikipedia page for this man that like she like bases her ideology off of and paid attention to and supports the teachings of when like he went to prison for fraud. Like you can't just be like these people should go to prison for fraud and then like idolize this person who went to prison for fraud. Like maybe a potential swing voter won't look at Lyndon LaRuse's Wikipedia page, but for how much you mention him in your website and like in your politics, like obviously people are probably going to look him up and it's right on here. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with who you associate yourself with. So that's that on that. She talks about FDR some more. I'm a fan of FDR from the American education I got on him. But yeah, so we're done with the why I'm running. I haven't really learned much about why Diane is running, besides the fact that she doesn't like Chuck Schumer or the British Empire or Wall Street. I don't know. Like, I don't get any sense that, like, she wants to, like, help people and whatever. It's just, all I see is a hate campaign against other people rather than a campaign about helping constituents. That's what I see here. Okay, so the next thing that I do as a potential swing voter is I'm now interested in her platform. Going to this platform page, I should already think that she's qualified for the position, and now I'm like fully primed and lubed up to hear what she wants to do and how she's going to change things. So I go to the general platform page here, and I'm looking, and this seems a bit familiar. Wow, it's the same thing from before. And I was already talking about how jumbled this header is and how it could be condensed. And this is a prime example on why it should be condensed, because this page is totally redundant. I have two options for you, Diane. One, get rid of this why I'm running page entirely. Get rid of the icon because you don't need it, because your why I'm running is already here and it already has a little fun title right there. Or you keep the why I'm running page and you change the general platform page. Or third option that I just made up on the fly, you break this up. Break up this whole page, add like one half to the why I'm running page, like these why I'm running and what qualifies me. And then you put these, a conjectural crisis, change of direction, and hold Schumer accountable on your platform, general platform page. That would be my number one for you. Definitely a big glaring problem as someone who has experience in design. I mean, not everyone is gonna be as like critical about something like this, but it's the little things that add up that really show, like, how much do you care about this website? Have you gone through this website? Have you noticed this before? Things like that. But anywho, for the remainder of the video, I just kind of want to talk about why I don't like Diane's platform. And it's not for a real political reason. I'm going to try and keep personal politics out of all of this because that's very subjective. But the objective truth to Diane's platform is that she bases a lot of it off of Lyndon LaRouche and ideas spun off and influenced by Lyndon LaRouche. And this goes into her obsession with, Germans. And like, I don't know. It's just like she mentions Lyndon a lot, right? But then you look up Lyndon, right? And you open up his Wikipedia page and you see his movement is sometimes described or likened to as a cult, and that's like an immediate turnoff. Okay, like, you're a politician, Diane. Like, you're trying to be a politician. We don't have time here for cultish antics, right? Like, if you can like prove me wrong why Lyndon isn't a cult leader, that would be cool. Because I'm just going off the Wikipedia page because I'm trying to act like a regular voter and everyone uses Wikipedia, but like, if Wikipedia is calling your man like a prominent conspiracy theorist, it's just like, and there's been accusations of anti-Semitism right here. Apparently, he's embraced radical right politics. Basically, from this paragraph, I'm learning a lot about Lyndon LaRouche. Um, and I don't really like him that much. And I don't know if I want to vote for someone who does like him. So I guess for my closing arguments, Diane, I would recommend you not associate with the Schiller Institute because that's just a massive think tank. I think if we're really trying to like not have party politics, you shouldn't have your entire platform based off of like one organization and one man, you know? Um, I don't see things that are relevant to me as a person. I don't see anything on taxes. I don't see anything on like transportation besides a massive railway system that would be like transnational, even international. Um, just like I'm just not seeing things that are relevant to me. I'm seeing like cancel culture and like, you know, four powers agreement between four countries. It's like we have the UN for a reason, you know? It's like I don't know. Like I agree with no wars of aggression. I'm also pretty anti-war in that respect. So I do agree with that. But like I need more from you than the basic parameter of not wanting innocent people to die because I think that it's like one of those bare necessity things and it's like I'm just so sick of this political game that has happened through the last however many elections that I've been kind of like aware of politics, where it's mostly just like voting for whoever is the least worst instead of voting for the best candidate. Um, and I really don't want a conspiracy theorist in office, you know, or someone who's like, who idolizes a prominent conspiracy theorist. Not really my thing. Even if like he has some like okay points, that would be if someone who like was a fanboy of Ted Kaczynski like wanted to like run for office, but like he was like really public about how he supported the Unabomber and stuff, and then he was like exonerate the Unabomber because like all he did was care about people. It's like no, like you committed a crime here, you know, like you can't just exonerate him because you think he's a great guy. Like if you fuck up, you fuck up, you know. So yeah, I would just say Diane, be your own person. Proofread, read like your sentences out loud. Um, you know, and make sure your sentences have a point and they're not just like a smear campaign against other people because like it's not going to win you an election. I feel like a similar thing happened in like 2016 where like I feel like a lot of the Democratic campaign was just like the right is bad and here's why, you know, and not like this is why you should vote for us instead, you know. It's just you can't just demonize the other side and expect people to jump to you. That's not how that works. You still have to prove yourself and you haven't proven yourself. I hope you can prove yourself maybe next election season. I hope you don't win because I don't think you would be a good fit in office. And I hate to say that I would rather have Chuck Schumer over you, but I think I would rather have Chuck Schumer over you. Yeah. So, Toodles, thanks for listening, everyone, whoever's here. Whatever, Diane, if you're listening, if you're still here, you listened to my whole thing. I hope you liked my critique of your website. I really am just trying to help a brother out. I want to see people succeed, but you know, you gotta fix some things first. And I just figured I'd give my opinion because nobody asked for it. And yeah, so happy election day.